And we all know Jacqueline is not normal.
No, it turns out it's not normal to sit in your room and try and commune with the dead.
I mean, it was for me.
Listen, like, that's why we're friends.
Yeah. In high school, I was doing ritualistic circles and, like trying to learn Wicca. And,
Hello!
Yeah. Whimsy, a podcast where we will be discussing all things weird and...
You guessed it.
Whimsical!
Woohoo! Woo! Hi, my name is Jacqueline.
And I'm Stevie.
And today, we're dabbling in the dark arts.
Ooh.
I mean, I say that.
I like that.
This is a rather contentious topic.
Yes.
We're riffing, by the way.
We are. Riff raff. I don't know what that was.
Let's
do
the
time up again.
Riff raff, right?
Yeah, I loved it.
Okay. Man, where have we been, right, guys? You've missed us. You've missed us so much.
It's true.
Season 2, episode 2, we are talking all things Ouija board.
Ouija.
So, right off the hop, I've mentioned this in a couple of our ghost episodes in the past. I have many experiences with Ouija boards.
You do.
You and I have an incredible story, which we shared on the pod.
Yep.
And got a lot of questions about what's the phrase.
Yes.
I'm not going to say what the phrase is, guys.
No.
Just, it continues to help me out, because when it happens, it blows people's minds.
Yeah.
To recap, if you haven't heard that story, go back and listen to it. It was either Ghosts 1 or 2. To be honest, I don't remember.
It was one of the earlier episodes, for sure.
It was either Ghost Part 1 or Part 2.
Yes.
But to recap, why not? Why not recap? Really quickly. I've been using a Ouija board for years. Whether or not that's a good thing, it's my problem, not yours. And the specific Ouija board I was using was my mom's from like the 60s or 70s. Yes. Like it was an OG.
Which I love.
Yeah. That board, fun fact, disappeared. It's gone.
You searched too, didn't you?
Searched my entire house before we left.
Yeah.
And ultimately got torn down.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain, I don't want to put anyone on blast, I think it got thrown away.
Even accidentally. Like, it's hard to get, like, stuff like that.
Yes.
Like, just in the garbage.
It just is one of those things. It happened. Who knows? Maybe it was downstairs when one of our infamous floods happened. I'm not sure, right?
Yeah.
So, however, did I leave it in my room under my bed? Sure did.
Sure did.
Which maybe that's why so many things happen to me.
Ooh.
So Stephen and I, this was very early in our friendship. Right? Our situation, not our situation, our experience. And I was telling him what to expect when touching the Ouija board.
Yes.
And all of the gals, it was gals Christmas, and we were up in my room.
I think, was this my first one that I was invited to?
I believe that's what you said last time too. I think it was. And it happened
or one
to be
of the
at my
earlier
house.
ones.
Yeah. Maybe that's why you... No, I'm kidding. It wouldn't have been my responsibility. Maybe. Maybe it was like, hey, we should invite Stephen. Anyway, I don't know. You were at my house.
Yes.
And you and I were sitting on my bed.
Yeah.
And the girls were on the floor playing with the Ouija board, and like crazy stuff was happening, which we're not going to get into because again, that's a sensitive story.
Yes.
Not ours to tell. And I said to Stephen, like, wait and see. Like, it's going to say a phrase.
Yeah.
And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's going to say this. And like told him. And then all of a sudden, so like if I get close to it, there was a time in my life where if I was just in the presence of the talking board, it would say it.
Yes.
It started out where I had to touch it. And then it was just like I was in the room. And what happened, Stephen?
It said it.
It said it.
Yeah.
And these girls were like, what the hell does that even mean?
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm like,
I'm losing it. And everyone's like, what? So we told them.
Yeah.
And immediately it was chaos. Someone ran from the house.
Yeah.
She left.
Yeah.
And it's funny because my mom, like simultaneously as this was all happening, my mom pulled in our driveway and was walking up the front walkway. And this girl came running out of the house, screaming, got in her car. My mom was like, oh, hi. Okay, bye. And she just took off.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happened. That phrase was said and I wasn't even touching it. And I was like, I don't know what
we were like sitting on the bed.
We were sitting on the bed.
They're on the floor.
Yes.
On the other side of the room. Yes. It was wild.
Yeah. So, totally had an attachment.
Yeah.
Since then, I have done things and taken steps to release myself from that attachment.
Yeah.
It happened for many, many years still after that, but as we'll get into the next episode, I'm a ritualistic person.
Yes.
Dabble here and there. So I think after years of doing it so often, maybe that person has left. I don't know. We'll find out because we're doing something special later, which you will find out. And
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. So, Stevie, question for you.
Yes, hit me with it.
When was the first time you used a Ouija board?
I think, like, when I was a kid, there might have been a few, you know, those random little, like, sleepovers or something.
Always the sleepovers or parties.
Always a sleepover. There was some, like, but honestly, I'm not, like, the one I remember is when we did it together.
Yeah.
That was, like, that sticks out in my head. And I'm sure I've dabbled with it before, but nothing ever came out. Nothing memorable. Nothing ever.
Not a lot of people our age, like, had one.
No.
Right? Unless it was, like, their parents, which in my case it was.
Yes.
And I remember, like, I found it, and my mom was like, oh, like, she's the one who told me, like, what it was and how to use it and how to be safe with it.
Did she have experiences in the past?
Oh, yeah.
Like, good, yeah.
Lots. And they're not my stories to tell.
Fair, yep.
But she's the one who, like, introduced me to it and kind of, like, gave me a warning. The earliest memory I have of it was a birthday party.
Yes.
And I'm like, do you guys want to see this thing I found? And of course, same thing. It was like, we were in the basement. It was like, lights were off. We were like asking questions. And naturally, it's always about like your crush.
Of course.
Always.
Stupid little kid stuff.
In fact, like when the Ouija board came out, it was kind of like designed to be like, ooh, have a romantic moment about... Find out who you're gonna marry, or like because you were like touching the planchette and touching the hands, you could like touch their hand, touch your crush's hand. I'll get more into that a little bit later, but I remember a lot of people got upset. Some people would not come down the basement.
Yeah,
that's totally fine. I always thought it was like a lighthearted situation. And because, again, we've talked about this, like how I've always kind of experienced and believed, I was always like, this is just a thing that's normal. This is just a normal thing to do.
And we all know Jacqueline is not normal.
No, it turns out it's not normal to sit in your room and try and commune with the dead.
I mean, it was for me.
Listen, like, that's why we're friends.
Yeah. In high school, I was doing ritualistic circles and, like trying to learn Wicca. And
hello!
Yeah.
Like, we were in the same town and we didn't know each other.
It's so sad.
It's a travesty.
I think we would have.
Oh! Steven.
Maybe. Although you were like a hardcore tomboy.
Maybe you would have thought that I was like... No, you would have thought I was like a butch lesbian. Because let me tell you, the rest of my school did.
True. Fair.
So,
I might have been scared of you. I don't know. The Smashing Pumpkins Blink-182 fan comes out and I was like, oh!
Look at you knowing what Smashing Pumpkins are.
Only because we talked about it yesterday.
I love it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about Ouija board and like how it came to be.
Yes.
So this is from the Smithsonian Magazine website that we love so much, smithsonianmag.com. The Strange and Mysterious History of the Ouija Board by one Linda Rodriguez McRobbie.
Ooh.
So I'm not going to, like, I'll quote this article a couple times, but essentially, you know, the idea of the Ouija board came about in 1891.
I mean, that's a long time ago.
A long time ago. A few advertisements started appearing in papers. Ouija, the wonderful talking board. So these have a couple names. Ouija board, the talking board, mystic board, spirit board. Mm-hmm. Back when I was a kid trying to understand like what this was all about, this is how much of a loser. If I were wearing my glasses, I would push them up. I went to the library and like started reading about the Ouija board. And from my little memory bank that I learned, Ouija, so it's Ouija, is yes, in French and German.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yes, French and German.
Interesting. I mean, I knew that, but I didn't realize Ouija was that.
Like we and yeah.
Interesting.
Right? So then I was like, well, should I be calling it the Ouija board?
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge nerd.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's not. It's Ouija. However, there you go. That's just a little glimpse. I was like, it's Ouija, guys. It's Ouija. I'm such an idiot. But again, if nothing but unique.
True that.
So apparently this was a Pittsburgh toy and novelty shop that started showing these advertisements.
Yes.
I'll quote the article. Describing a magical device that answered questions about the past, present, and future with marvelous accuracy, and also promised never-failing amusement and recreation for all the classes. A link between the known and the unknown, the material and the immaterial. Ooh. Another advertisement in a New York paper declared it, quote, interesting and mysterious, and testified as proven at patent office before it was allowed. Random. The price for a Ouija board back then, a whopping $1.50.
Wow.
Right?
Steal.
So, essentially, its early conception is exactly what it is today.
Yeah.
A flat board of letters. When you look at a Ouija board, sometimes they're designed different. The one that I always used was like, again, vintage. It was blue. It was like corkboard sort of thing with a smooth surface.
Yeah.
And it had like the semicircles of letters at the top.
Yeah.
With like yes or no, hello, like, and goodbye, right?
Yeah.
And then the planchet, which is the little teardrop shaped thing that you put your hands on, sometimes had a circle in the middle.
Yes.
And sometimes it would not, and the pointer would be what you use.
I feel like if it had both, it would be confusing.
Very confusing. So mine that I used growing up was just a full plastic planchet with the pointer. So it would point to the letter.
Yes. I think I like that one the best.
I agree. This one has both. That's very annoying.
That is. Oh, well.
Ugh. We'll see. I just also gave away what we're going to be doing. Anyway, so a couple of things here, Stephen. Number one, you got to know who you're playing with.
I mean, yeah.
Right? Like when you put your hands on the planchet, and it's supposed to be light. If you've never used one before.
Barely
light.
touching.
Barely touching. Sometimes just 2 fingers. Yeah. Sometimes a finger.
Ayo.
Two's always better. When you are first experiencing Ouija board with a group of people you don't know.
Yes.
Like, obviously someone's going to screw with you.
Every time. There's always one.
Of course.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in the room with a crush and you're like, I almost said the last name.
Woo!
Could you imagine? Whatever. He knows by now that I had a huge crush on him when I was a kid. I don't care. I'm not going to say it. He said his first name already. I'd be like, if I were in the room with him and I asked, like, does he like me? Of course he's going to push it to no.
Yeah.
Like, of course.
Yeah.
But if you're in a group of girlfriends, I don't know. I'm just saying. So, story time.
Story time. We like that.
This is kind of scary. This is kind of when I started realizing this should not be trifled with.
Yes, this is not a game.
Right. So, like...
Even though it started...
Kind of was. Yeah, it was started out as a game. And, like, it's a piece of cardboard. Like, we'll get into it, but, like, some people 100% believe this is, like, a communicative tool.
Yes.
For the spirits. Other people think it is just a way to summon the devil.
Yeah.
Other people think you're crazy, people are lying, you're just pushing it around, being fake.
Yeah.
Right? Other people think this is our subconscious pushing, like firing off the nerves through your fingers to go where it wants to, or you've made up this elaborate story and you don't actually realize that you're doing it, right? To which I say, I must be very messed up.
Again, I say, yes, you are.
Because the things that it has said, well, who knows?
Yeah.
So this was the turning point for me. I don't think I've told you this.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I was using the Ouija board with my friend at the time.
Yeah.
It was just the two of us. We were kind of obsessed with it.
Okay.
We used it a lot.
Okay. How old were you?
Maybe 14.
Okay.
14, 15. Mm-hmm. And we're asking the generic questions, does he like me?
Yeah.
Whatever. Stupid teenage shit. And it started going in a huge circle.
Ooh, okay.
Over and over and over. And I remember saying to my friend at the time, like, are you doing that? And she's like, I thought you were doing that. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. And I was like, 1, 2, 3, let go. And we let go. And it just like slid and came to a stop.
Ooh.
Which was also creepy because it didn't stop immediately.
Which is weird because it would.
It would stop immediately.
It's a flat surface. It's not.
Nothing, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, what the hell? So we put our hands back on as soon as
Yeah.
as it, big circles.
Creepy.
Circles. So I was like, all of a sudden I just went, is someone here? Like I had no real understanding of why I was saying it. I just was like, is someone here?
It came to you. You have that kind of...
Went with the intuition.
Yeah.
And it stopped going in circles and I went to yes. And I was like, you're doing this. Like we got mad at each other because I was like, you're doing this. And she's like, you're doing it. And then I was like, who's here? And it went to, I don't even want to say the name.
Ooh.
Zozo. Are you familiar with Zozo?
I think I am. Yeah. Refresh the audience.
Oh.
But oh my God.
So feel free to look it up, people, because I encourage you to do so.
Yeah.
Zozo is the name of like a demon.
Yeah.
That really, really tries to mess with people a lot. And it mimics.
Were you aware at all at that time?
Nope.
What about your friend? Were they in this realm at all?
I asked her because like the person who it was has never expressed this at all.
Okay.
Even in our friendship, like I was always the one who was like, let's do the Ouija board.
Mm-hmm.
So
who was it? Do I know them?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say.
Oh, okay.
I have a hard time believing that she knew who this all-powerful, ancient demon was.
Yeah.
If you look it up, like he is mentioned for decades.
Ooh, I love it.
And so, like, unless she comes forward and says, "Yeah, I was totally fucking with you," I have no other way of explaining. Yeah. I literally was like, I don't know who you are, what this is. Like, I think we even laughed at the name.
Wow.
How dare I know.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, cool name, bro. Like, so stupid. And then it just kept going in circles, and we're like, okay, well, you suck, so see you later. Like, all we did was mock it, and all we did was say, like, okay, like, stupid.
Yeah.
Came to find out, this was the name of, like, a very popular demon that tries to, like, mess with people and infiltrate their, souls.
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of changed how I do things.
Mm-hmm.
And started cleansing and treating it different and asking to leave and flipping it over. And like I created these little rituals around the Ouija board that I still did.
You do. You are mom with the Ouija board.
Man.
When it's being used.
You don't take your damn hands off it.
Yeah.
You ask to leave.
Yeah.
You flip it before you say or do anything else. Like you close the gate. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I know I sound insane, but like better safe than sorry.
When we're at the James White seances and he brings out, it's like, do not lift your hands. You're like yelling in the background at people, don't lift your hands.
I lose it. So Stephen, please, I've done a lot of talking. Explain a little bit what we do with James White and the talking boards.
Okay, so I mean it's a whole night of events, but at one point in the night he'll bring out his Ouija board for us to use. Mm-hmm. If the night and the energy calls for it. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's happened every time. Has it happened every time? Potentially.
Maybe, but we don't participate in every single one.
So he'll bring it out. He'll ask certain people in the group that either feel comfortable or that have shown some sort of, like they've heard something, felt something.
Yeah, like a connection to what's going on.
Hands on the Ouija board. Ask who's there. Ask what's happening. Ask, those questions. And a few times... stuff has come through, names of people who have died in the house that, like, he's told us who has died before, but some names have come through that he didn't specifically mention.
Correct.
To see if they would come through.
Correct.
And they did.
Yes. And he tells us after in a letter. He always has this letter of, like, what's happened.
Yes.
Not that we're giving away secrets.
No. So... and if Jacqueline's not specifically on the Ouija board, she's very like, don't let go, say goodbye. Yeah. James will be off doing something else, and Jacqueline takes over as mom, and she's like, okay, this is how we're doing it.
I'm like, everybody shut up. I'm like, and then I'll be like, look away from the board, look away. Because, like, that's a great way to make sure that people aren't fucking around.
True, yeah.
Right? You have one person who's not touching. This is my little hot tip.
Love it.
If you have several people in the room playing Ouija board, have one person who's not touching it be the eyes.
Yes.
And everybody else looks away, still touching it.
I love that.
But then you can't cheat and be like, I'm going to this letter.
Yeah. That's actually a great tip.
Just saying. Anyways, please continue.
But yeah, it's a fun experience. It's very, spooky in the moment, obviously. Mm-hmm. But when you're on a Ouija board, your fingers are on the planchettes. It's hard to explain, but you can you can tell when someone's pushing or pulling.
Totally.
It's a different feel.
Yeah.
When spirit is talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like there's like a pressure on the planchette on the top. It's an even pressure that is moving the planchette. So you can't tell where if it's being pulled, pushed. Like, it's a very specific feeling.
I totally agree. It's not coming from one direction. So if you or me, and I could feel it if you were pushing from the direction that you're sitting.
Yeah. That's like, you get, obviously it's not exact science, but you can kind of tell sometimes if someone is fucking with you.
Yeah, totally.
Because if they're pushing or pulling, it's just very cool.
It is very cool. And it like, again, whether it's our psyche or not.
Yes.
That's the thing. Like, I can't explain a lot of what's gone on.
Yeah.
Unless I'm very mentally ill, which maybe I am.
Love it. I can't really explain.
I haven't got the words. Oh my god. Why are we so cool? Okay, so also explain this. Like, I have had it work by myself.
Well, you have.
So again, mentally, I'm not making a joke. I understand that there are people out there who you never know. But the idea of like subconscious, why is my subconscious doing this to me?
I know.
So here's a little story. Here's a fun story of, again, this is, I think, the most scared I've ever been in my life.
Okay.
In my life I was 14, 15. Mm-hmm. And I'm upstairs and I'm like, I want to try it. I want to see if it works for me. Flip it over. It's always circles with me. It's always circles. That's how it starts.
I love that.
And then it's doing its thing. It says the phrase.
Yeah.
And then I started asking questions about, like, who are you? What is this? It gives me a whole backstory. Things I wouldn't know at that age.
Yeah.
About, like, crimes and drugs and things.
Yeah.
So, I said, if you're actually here, make a sound. Give me a sign.
I love that.
The second I finish that statement, there is an explosion of sound above me, which was a knock on my window. When I tell you that my heart stopped and the blood left my body, I can still feel it. Like, it makes my chest tight thinking about how I felt. And I just went, are you kidding? And then it went to ha, 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 H-A, 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 H-A. And I was like, I'm done. I was like, okay, can I go now? Okay, thanks, bye. And I flip it over and I'm like, I come downstairs. I get a glass of water. My mom comes in from the sliding door, which was like layout-wise underneath my room.
Yes, yeah.
And so I'm in the kitchen and she's like, hey, I've been throwing shit out your window. Come outside. I'm like, oh my God. That could not have been the worst time. She threw clothespins at my window as I said, give me a sign.
I'm obsessed.
But then it laughed at me.
That part's cool.
Like,
that part is very cool. That's fantastic.
Yeah. But like, perfect. And I lost it on her. I'm like, oh, stop! And I told her the whole thing and she's laughing. And she's like, oh, sorry. Like, yeah. But I have never have I felt that fear.
Oh, for sure. That would be terrifying.
It was pretty wild.
Terrifying.
So, talking about, like, someone else once said to me, like, oh, it's magnets.
Like, how, where?
Where are the magnets?
Where are the magnets?
Show me the receipts.
Yeah.
Where are the magnets? Also, magnets need to have another magnet to react.
Yeah.
So are you saying that we have magnets in our fingers? Obviously, we have electrical currents running through our brains.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? But that's not a magnet, bitch.
No.
So that
also,
ain't it.
That's easily disproved.
Oh.
Put another magnet around there, see what happens.
See what happens. Is a magnet going to stick to this? Right? We'll do a test. Anyways, yeah. So obviously there's a lot of people who think a lot of things about this.
Yeah.
Again, do I think, like, I'm a healthy skeptic when it comes to Ouija boards.
You have to be.
You
have to be.
It is an inanimate object.
Yeah.
That's the thing. To me, the board itself doesn't have the power.
Yes.
And I was listening to Bridget Marquardt and Holly Madison talk about.
Love it.
Right? Ouija boards, because they're spooky ooky bitches as well. And Bridget was once told, like, she kind of told the story how she was so afraid to use Ouija boards for a long time. And someone said to her, what's the difference between that and, like, an EMF detector?
It's true.
Or a spirit box, like the sound one. Like, these are all tools to communicate with the dead. So why is that one bad? And I'm like, man, as soon as she said that to me, I'm like, yeah.
It's very fair.
Yeah. And to the people who don't believe, why are you afraid to use it then?
That's my thing. Because, Dan and Kyle,
they are like, this is so fake and stupid, but by the way, don't bring it in the house.
Yeah.
Also, Dan, sorry.
Oopsies.
Or are you?
It's fine. It's fine.
You're gonna be in so much trouble.
It's better to ask for forgiveness, right?
Beg for forgiveness.
Beg for forgiveness. He doesn't believe in ghosts, so...
Exactly. So, I mean, listen, it's...
I don't want to put this out into the world, knock on wood, but, like, I almost do want something to happen just so that it can prove to him that ghosts are real.
That'd be really cool.
That would be cool.
Would he ever try it?
I mean...
I don't think he would try it.
I don't think he would try it.
Right? Not that we're, like, putting him on blast, Dan.
But kinda. I dare you.
Woo! I dare you to try it.
Try a Ouija board.
So, according to this article by Dorian Cole in 2023, on the Strong Museum of Play.org, I don't know why it's called the Strong, but sure. Today, Hasbro actually holds the patent for Ouija.
Oh, okay.
And occasionally releases movie tie-in special editions of the board, like 2017 Stranger Things edition.
Ooh,
right?
Fun. Yeah.
Actually, when we were in Spirit yesterday, I saw a Beetlejuice version.
Ooh, that's neat.
So, what's interesting, this goes on to say, the company doesn't sell the Ouija board as part of its regular line of products. If you search Ouija on the Hasbro website, nothing comes up.
Oh.
So despite Ouija's 130 years of notoriety, or perhaps because of them, even the most, I don't know what this word, stalwart?
Stalwart. It's like,
infamous?
Like, I want to say it's like strong, like
known?
Known. Well, like what? Use it in a sentence?
The most stalwart board. Hold on, shit, I lost it. Even the most stalwart board game manufacturers have been scared off.
Yeah, like they're very set. They're known. They're not going anywhere.
Reliable. Yes.
Reliable.
Okay, here we go. Okay, yeah, got it. Thanks. Look at you.
I know the words in my brain, but trying to explain them.
I am amazed.
Thanks.
So all this to say, leading up, Steven, do you want to do a quick little Ouija board session?
Fuck yeah, I do.
I just happen to have this brand new Ouija board that I bought.
Yeah.
I bought it 2 weeks ago. It's been in my car for 2 weeks because I'm not allowed to bring it into my home.
I think you should.
Oh,
we're doing a session in my house.
It's happening.
It's entering yours.
It's
sorry,
coming,
Kyle.
Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll pause here. We'll record what happens on video.
Yeah.
We'll come back. We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe nothing happens.
Yeah.
Maybe we report nothing. We will see. So stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break.
Yeah. We're going to set up.
We're going to jump in.
Here we go.
Okay, so we lied. Jacqueline and I decided to be complete jerks and leave y'all hanging. So tune in next Wednesday to hear the outcome of our Ouija board session. And trust me, you do not want to miss it. I basically almost shit my pants. So there's that. Thank you so much for listening to the Weirdos of Whimsy. We will be back again soon with another episode that guides you through the weird and whimsical journey that is our brains. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Weirdos of Whimsy Pod. Watch that space for updates and release dates and other treats and delectable morsels. And, as always, big gulps, eh? Well, see you later. It's just not the same without Jacqueline here.